All right, great. My apologies. So we do this every 2 weeks. And from there, we try to build upon essentially what is being done in between that time, rather between each other's ministries or picking back up on the prior work that we were doing as a group the 2 weeks before then. Today, we thought it was important to one, make it clear to you all just coming out of a legislative period that one, you do have access to these meetings. You can be more involved if it's something that you would like to do. We would also like to hear back from you if there is something that you think we can do a little bit better. If you are new here, there are committees that we all have that some are further along than others. But if you are interested, don't just because you don't see the action, don't not reach out, right? Because we may just be looking for somebody just like you to be able to help with whatever things we have going on. We are a legislative organization first as this ministerial congress. So yes, we do focus on legislation, but naturally as a new tribe, a new as in building out the government, we do have some form of responsibility of trying to see this actual government grow in these areas. So we are looking for help in those areas. And the last thing that I would like to note before passing it off is that we do have an empty seat within our actual house and we are looking to possibly fulfill that seat. So if you are interested in that said seat, please reach out with your interest and we'll be letting you know what the steps are going from there. Back to the share. So we're going to go straight into introductions. We are going to start from who I can see in the screen and just move from there. Well, actually, let's try to, if you can, Sister Minister Naima, you can. We'll give you like 10 seconds to just introduce yourself, your ministry, and your region. If you can't, I'll wait that 10 seconds. I'll move on to the next person. All right, she said that she'll go next. So, Minister Jael, you're up.
Peace, family. What's going on? Can y'all hear me? Is my mic working?
We can hear you.
Okay, awesome. What's going on, family? Happy Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak to everyone joining. It's a wonderful time of the year. I am your Chief Minister of Health, Minister Jael Xi-Amaru, and our Ministerial Council of Health focus is basically on concentrating on our implementation of awareness for our community, on our innovative methods uh, for treatments of diseases and increasing knowledge of alternative food supplies, that can assist our communities against famine and starvation. We also have a responsibility to inspire and to lead our nationals with materials and programs and initiatives that address these areas as well. And so, as a committee and a ministry, we came up with a mission statement, which is enhancing family bloodlines through food science and security, natural law principles, and environmental justice. And so, the last component that we're also focused on is, again, the um, sharing awareness and knowledge about how we can increase our ability to preserve our bloodlines and through food and nutrition and growing food and things of that nature. And if y'all have any other further questions for me, just hit me in the comment or the back channel and we'll have some more segments later. I yield my time.
All right, we're going to continue with introductions. Minister Washak Ali, you're up.
Oh, I can go next. Excuse me, if that's okay. Was that next? Okay, cool. All right, peace, family. I am Minister Naima Xi-Amaru, Minister of Births, Deaths, and Forensics. So, in our ministry, our focus is on properly recording all births and deaths that occur in our tribe, and also properly educating nationals on optimal birthing and burial practices. So, currently, our focus is on birth, not as much currently on the burial and the forensics aspects. So we have passed 4 bills in our house, in our ministry, all of which relate to properly educating nationals on how to birth properly, as far as what to eat, as far as diagnostics, also how to properly record birthing in the tribe and what those processes are. And our committee, our cabinet, is currently working on our logo, our website, and getting lots of resources up on that website so nationals can go there and get those forms for recording births and deaths. Also processes for how to nationalize, newborns, the recommended diets for mothers and fathers, things of that nature. So we are excited about what is to come for our committee and our cabinet. And if anyone has expertise or experience in tribal and indigenous burial practices, that is an area that we are seeking to fulfill. All right, peace.
Peace, everybody. My name is Washak Xi-Amaru Ali, Chief Minister Washak Xi-Amaru Ali. I'm out of Region 3, Hawab Sharik. Uh, right now, my current occupation is I teach steel pans and music in North Charleston, and I'm also in the athletic field in the on the high school scene. Right now, we don't have an active committee. My goal is to get a couple of folks together after the new year to prep and plan some things for the next summit that's coming up, and potentially the spring solstice that's going to come up as well. My I guess journey since I've been here in in the minister's seat has been, more focused on legislation, and then focusing on creating like more internal organizations like the uh, the cultural act that was passed through legislation and the Aboriginal Sports Association. But if you have any expertise when it comes to linguistics, that's something that one of our bills was passed through the ministry when it came through to the tribal National Tongues Act. That's what it was called. So if you have any linguistic capabilities that you would like to offer to the tribe, I want to get some type of curriculum going in that area for the end part of the year. And if you have any interest in helping plan and orchestrate some of the things that goes on at the next summit, feel free to reach out to me. My email is there, washakali08@gmail.com. And that's all. I yield my time.
Minister Yashiahu, are you prepared to introduce yourself next?
Absolutely. Peace, family. I'm Minister Yashiyahu, Minister of Education. I'm out of Region 3. We are involved in course development and preserving our intelligence and systems of education for the youth all the way to adults. And currently, we don't have an active committee. However, we are definitely seeking people who are talented in developing courses, who's good with teaching complex concepts and breaking them down very simple. We have been working hand in hand with the Congress and developing certain projects for them from time past. We have developed a bill about a year ago, and that was developing curriculum and creating like an online website. We've had a little bit of technical difficulty as far as like automation. So anybody that's familiar with AI, automation, and things in the back office like that, we are definitely open and welcome. And so I can be contacted at my email, yahxiahu@gmail.com. That's YAHXIYAHU@gmail.com. So I look forward to anybody who's interested in those regards. And again, thank y'all for joining. A pleasure to speak with you guys. Someone said that my volume was very low. How much of what I said was heard? I apologize.
I think I heard most of it, but it was just you might need to figure out a way to just bump your volume just a little bit.
Okay. Do I need to repeat anything? Let me know. I'm more than glad to repeat something.
I personally heard everything, but it is a little low.
Okay. I apologize. I will work on that. Appreciate that, Minister.
All right, Minister Basir.
Peace, fam. I am the newest member of the Congress, Basir Shi Balam. I am the Chief Minister of Civics, Corporations, and Governance. Right now, I don't have an active committee, but I am looking to build that out at the top of the year. As of right now, I do have a couple of initiatives that I would like to implement. One being a civics program that involves debate, logic, and reasoning, because I think the political environment that we are in, as well as just being members of the tribe, it behooves us to understand civics and be able to communicate effectively, whether that is between each other or to the public. And part of that initiative does involve the youth. So I think it is beneficial to develop programs not only for the adults in the tribe, but also for the youth so that they can continue to develop their civic understanding, whether that is from a simplistic formation and then as they get older, obviously add more complexity. And then the second initiative is a business incubator. Again, I think it helps to have both a youth program element as well as a national element. That will likely be the flagship program that I'm going to be offering to the tribe at the top of the year. I see a real need for that. I see a use for that for us, where obviously once we become Indigenous doctors, once we become jurists, once we become cosmologists, once we develop out and receive these credentials, I think it'll be super helpful for us to have something like a business incubator so we can all build and learn. We can develop whether it's apprenticeship programs and things of that nature. So that's just a little behind the scenes in terms of my intentions in this role as of now. I could be reached. You can reach me on socials. IG Basir.Shi. Basir is BASIR.XI. That's on IG. Facebook Basir Shi Balam. Balam is BALAM. Email basirbalam@gmail.com if you had any interest. And I can put this in the chat as well if anybody wanted to follow up. But I yield my time.
All right. I'll go quickly. I am Minister Bolon. I am in Region 2 here in Maryland. and I am in the Ministry of Science and Technology. We don't have active committee members currently. However, I do have a couple brothers and sisters who have been great with sending me messages, keeping me abreast of what's out there, what they think I should be aware of, and what should be shared. Really, my idea between where I stand right now and what time is left is really getting an understanding of contractors, essentially contractors within the areas that Chief has set out for us to be able to build within the science and technology area, and how they can help us evolve in the tribe or possibly get into the tribe. But it's more so a knowledge sharing base, and my background comes into solar. So that said, technologically sound, I'm pretty good in those areas, the math that comes with that, the interconnection that comes with that, the networking and sales that come with that. But my blind spot is in all the other areas as far as science and technology is concerned. So that's why there's going to be more of a focus of what who those contractors are, those main areas that has been highlighted for me from the Congress side down to the family, marriage, and law contracts. My portion of that, what does that look like? How can we make sure that the family has the proper systems that they need within their home as far as technology is concerned? It's the practical thing that I would like to see out of the committee. And I think that's what is being asked for me. As far as what I do in my profession, I am looking for people who are interested to develop solar, somewhat of what I do. You don't have to be a trainer, but you want to be interested in the field. You want to be a person who is interested in sales and being able to talk to business owners, residential people, and commercial. I'm not able to do a class because of legislation that has come out that pretty much allows us to, well, not allows us, but makes us be in alignment with having dissertations and things of that done. So in order for me to move into a class specific for the tribe, then we'll need to do that. But that's pretty much where I stand as far as my committee is concerned. As far as the president of the Congress, my main goals have been to make sure that I have an understanding of fiscally what it took to run this over the past 4 years, creating a budget so that the next person can be able to not only prepare for said budget, but ask for funds, also raise funds, and make sure that our government is able to run and continue to be sustainable moving forward. Lastly, making sure that we have proper bylaws, things of that nature within this system, so that us as a group continues to build, respect each other, have mechanisms for when a seat gets dropped. Things of that nature has really been my main focus instead of actually building out the committee. So I got to do a better job with that, but that's where we stand. I think we have Yogi left, and then we'll go Minister Manny back.
Alrighty, peace, family. Can you hear me? Alrighty. I'm Chief Minister Yogi Alakun. I'm the Chief Minister of Cosmology and Spirituality out of Region 6 in Awab in San Antonio, Texas. The main focus of cosmology and spirituality is for offense and defense using divination and rituals, and to preserve a lot of our traditions and things of that nature, and to spread universal peace using the three main principles in our cosmology system. As far as committee, I no longer right now have a active committee, besides just some people I work with, saying on the side and everything, who do dive into cosmology and give me insights to it. As far as my main focus with cosmology right now is to kind of push it past where it's currently at, which is right now is only being used for like therapy, and I kind of want to push it more so to having advanced technology and things of that nature, so we can start to work with the Ministry of Technology and the other ministries, as well as cosmology covers all aspects of 12 polarities. And so that's kind of just my push right now, just to see how we can further just get out of the box. Because right now I feel like it's saturated in a box of just only focusing on is used for trauma. But cosmology is so much more than just that, just solving that. So that's kind of my focus right now. And to start to use cosmology on an offensive task to, protect the nation, not just in a defensive way, but in an offensive way too as well. And so that's kind of where my mind and thoughts are on cosmology right now. So I am looking for people who are advanced in cosmology, um, and who's willing to start to build up their skills in cosmology to start to join the committee and push the vision so we could spread it as far as we can on a global scale. Thank you.
Peace, tribe. Pardon me. Manny Bay, Community Chief of Community Action and Family. Primary goal, within the ministry is to, educate communities on birthrights of nationality and indigenous peoples. Currently don't have an active committee, so it's working on that. One of my goals that I'm looking to do, probably at the start of the next fiscal year, which is in January. I was thinking for December, just kind of like building out the community a little more. Some of the other chief ministers at previous meetings had expressed how a lot of the nationals were having some trouble, like adjusting or wanting to communicate more with other nationals, especially seasoned nationals, on how they transition with the new lifestyle, with all the new information that comes out and implementing, the information and to get account also to see, where the current nationals are as well as the aspiring nationals. So having more, it's going to be more so like a dialogue of us just building together. We'll talk about many things, and then just to see where people's mind is at, what they need some assistance with, try to line everybody up, and then the end goal to that is to focus on building out the local jurisdictions, making sure we have the set number of nationals per location. I'm in Region 3, South Florida Republic. So I know there's a few nationals here, and many of us are scattered throughout the state. So just to get a bit more organized, see who's where, and what we're doing, what's our specialty. If you got any certifications, just to help out and start building the local jurisdictions, because that's where the primary focus needs to be. We have this on a national scale, but the next objective, which is one of the main objectives, is building out the local jurisdictions so we can operate locally just as we are nationally. And it'll be more of a primary focus on that geographic location to handle any issues as far as like with health wise, any civil or anything that has to do with law, with tribal jurists, and just having the whole setup, all around. So, within this last year, putting a hard focus and a lot of energy into that, and just organizing on that nature. That's all.
All right, thank you, ministers. I don't think I missed anybody. If I did, speak up now. Forever hold your peace. All right. So there was a question in the chat about, do we have a minister in Houston? I believe the only minister that we have close to Houston is Minister Yogi, which you're in San Antonio, right? Or excuse me, are you close to Houston? I don't want to be telling everybody where y'all at.
No,
So
you good.
I'm
I
running
already
that
said. No, yeah, I'm definitely in San Antonio. Yes, Chief. Yeah, Minister Bach is out of Houston, and I'm close to Houston.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. So that's us, family. I would like to the cleanest way possible. See if y'all can do a little bit better than we did. Allow you all to come on quickly and just say your name and what region you're from, if you don't mind. But introduce yourself. We're kind of naturally, as you can see, we want to get a feel for where we are and where you are, how we can possibly be assistance of you, if we haven't met you, then this would be an opportunity for us to say hello. But preferably, we'll start with the names that I can see. If you can come on, then great. Again, we'll take your hello, your name, what region you're in. Also, let us know if you are national or not. That's important. If you are national or no, that would be important. So I'm going to just call off what I see. Then we're going to get straight into the actual conversation, fam. Sorry if I get your name wrong, but the first name I see is Lasha.
Alito, my name is Lasha Maru, and I'm in the DC area. This is my first time participating, but I am very much familiar with Amarishi Namataga. So I'm sitting back and learning something this evening, I pray. And thank you for allowing me in your circle.
Nice to meet you, Sister Lasha, and I'm glad that you can join, and you're not too far from me. So good to see some DMV people in here. I always feel home when I get a chance to hear one of y'all people around. Appreciate you. All right, next box I see is Sister, or I believe Sister Brickell. All right, may not be available. Let's go with Hotep. Hotep iPhone. All right, Hotep, we may call on you a little later. I'm a little interested to see who you are. We got Nefer Dijed.
Yes, hello family. How's everybody doing? First of all, I'm from Houston, Texas. Um, I'm not a national, but I am looking to be a part of the organization. So I'm in the process of getting monies together, as well as I've been to the website, going through the information, going through the testing, and see about joining the beginning of this year coming up. I wanted to see if there was a minister, like you said, was in Houston, Texas. But whoever I can connect with that's closest to me, I would like to, so I can go ahead and go through the program, get started, and start to help any way that I can. I am presently licensed in HVAC, done self-employed as well. So I have a lot of background with management and supervisory. So I would love to help in any area I could, and I appreciate being a part of the program tonight. Thank you.
Welcome, brother. Welcome. Glad to see that you are new people and you are here to get a chance to fellowship with us. And we are happy to be here with you. And don't be afraid to build with other people that are not in the Houston area. We got some great ministers here and some other great nationals that are in Texas that can help you through those specific processes. How to get through the rites of passage, how much these things cost, who are great people. So we may not have too many people in that area, but we do have some people at least in the state or around the state, or we'll get with you here. Any of the ministers here that when they have time, will be able to help you with that as well. So we'll make sure that you be on the right foot, brother. All right, next one I see is Brother Crandall. What up, fam?
Hey, what's good? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what's good, everybody? My name is Crandall Duso. I'm from Cali, so the Maghrib area, and I am a national And yeah, just currently here, just, looking forward to hearing the conversation, looking forward to collaborating with some folks, particularly doing stuff with AI. Been, studying for the last few months about it, seeing some of the different things that we can do as far as integrating it into businesses, figuring out how to upgrade those business processes to really take advantage of everything that AI can do. So just some of the things I've been looking into, and yeah, looking forward to the discussion.
And if I may, Crandall is a member of the Birth, Deaths, and Forensics Cabinet as well. So shout out
Good
to him for
job,
that.
Minister, because I was about to try to steal your man. It's like, hey, bro, what you doing in the next 2 weeks, brother? I'm gonna try to get him over here, Minister Naima. That's what's up. That's what's up. Great to hear and see you again, brother. I'm glad to hear that you are with the sister and doing great work there. I don't think I heard that last time we did a haul, and I think you were here. But now that I know you got the AI thing going on, I'll be reaching out as well for some assistance. I ain't gonna pull you from the system, but we gotta get this technology thing going over here. So whatever help I can get, that would be wonderful, brother.
Most def.
Same thing with the HVAC situation. All right. Who else we have here? I see a sister's picture with the letters SKT.
Peace, everyone. My name is Saket Adigun. I'm out of Region 6 in Dallas, Texas. I am a national, and this is, I think, the second ministerial meeting that I've attended. So just trying to see what's new.
What area in Texas again?
Dallas.
Dallas? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Peace, sister. Glad you are here.
Thank you.
Texas is showing out today, Yogi. What you over there doing, bro? What type of messages you sending out there, brother? Y'all are deep.
Hey, look, we trying to recruit. We trying to get bigger. They say everything big in Texas.
I like that. I like that. Okay. We may have to bring these boots next time. What y'all out there doing? Bring those boots and these hats. All right, who else we got? Atafo.
Peace, fam. This is Alma Tufo. I'm in the Fort Worth region. I'm in the Fort Worth area, Region 3. I am a national, and I'm just here to check out to see what y'all have going on. This is my second meeting attending as well.
Welcome back, brother. Always good to hear from you. Hope all is well.
I'm calling everybody out that I know has done something. I think the brother helped Kwaku with the cacao, the Aboshi cacao.
Oh, yeah.
Dissertation. Okay.
Yeah, so I am a part of that at Boshi Cacao. I'm the head of the marketing department. So whatever needs you have for cacao, just you could get in contact with me or one of the other members. Basir is also a part of it, and Kwahu and Simni as well. So, if you want to connect, we got you on that.
Great to hear that you brothers are collaborating the way that y'all are. So let's get this chocolate all across the country, man. Across the world, for real. Get it in all the stores, all the houses that we can. Great to hear that collaboration. That's what's up. Who else we missing? Sister Alicia.
Peace, family. I am Alicia Xi-Amaru, so very excited to be here. This is my first ministerial conference meeting, and I'm very, very excited to learn even more about Ramadan done the ARNA way. I've been celebrating Ramadan since 2015 when I did my first Ramadan after taking my Shahada. So I'm very, very excited to learn even more and I'm very excited. Ramadan Mubarak. I'm in Region 5, Tennessee.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Nice to meet you, sister. Hear your voice. This is my first time hearing that. So,
Okay, okay, wonderful. I've been watching the great works that you're doing. Very excited about putting faces with names, and you're out there in Maryland with every bit of my family. So yeah, Suitland, Baltimore, all of them. The two more science temples out there. I was a assistant grand sheikah. So all of those, that's all my family out there, and they've spoken highly of you. So they actually see the work that you're doing in the community, and it means a lot.
thank you, sister. That means so much to me because, I try to stay in the depths of my home when I'm not out there doing the work. So I appreciate those positive affirmations for sure. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What else we got? Mama Yoli. What's up, Mama?
Peace and love, family. I want to say blessed Ramadan to everyone. I am Yoli Xi-Amaru, Mama Yoli. I thought Michigan was Region 5. So I don't know. I heard other people saying Tennessee, and I thought we were Region 5, but I'm in Michigan, Detroit. And just looking forward to the conversation. Wanted to get on with my peeps. You all have a wonderful, successful Ramadan.
Michigan is Region 6, but I think there's some discrepancies in some of our documents where it does list it as Region 5, like Midwest, and then it switches in other documents.
Which hopefully this picks that up here. But let's make sure we have any notes of those. The same thing with my state too. Maryland is in Region 1, and protocol. I may be switching these, but it's switched in the protocol manual versus the Constitution. And one area is Region 1, one area is Region 2. But that's why we here, y'all. That's why we are a part of this Congress here, so that we can really examine that Constitution, take a look at that protocol manual. That's some of the things that we didn't go into today because we wanted to really focus more so on the collaboration, but that's been some of the challenge that you all may have heard from like some of the missing seats and things of that nature, that when we signed up, and I won't speak for nobody else, but when I signed up, at least in my mind, I really didn't know what this was going to be. I thought that we did have the Constitution, and I would have the ability to possibly add to that, possibly adjust to that. So that was the original thought. But this position came with a little bit more than I expected. And also, it hasn't been as stressful or as pulling from my life as I thought that it possibly could be either. It's been just as beneficial as it is a challenge in that regard. So that's the long and short of some of the things that what we do here. So if you see things in the Constitution, if you have those type of questions, get them to us, because we do now have the ability to make those type of updates, changes, and at least get you the answers that you may be looking for. All right, so we are officially at about 13 minutes under an hour. So I do not want to slow us down any longer. Let's get straight into it. Ministers, I am going to be handing over the mic to you all who are prepared for that. Right now, what we're going to start with is, and I know I didn't say this in the message, so it's up to you if you would like to. Minister Yashiyahu, we have about 5 to 10 minutes here for you to kind of recap Ali's video yesterday. You have a document that I know that you want to share with the family. So I placed it here. If you want me to share it in the chat, just let me know while you're doing the recap of the video. And I can do that for you. I can also send it out to people, or however you want us to resource it. If you need my help with that, just let me know. But we're going to give you 5 to 10 minutes to recap the video and just give your perspective from it. From there, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break to ask you all who are here, did you get a chance to see that video? Do you need that document? What were some of your thoughts about the Indigenous Ramadan? versus what you have heard about Ramadan before. We'll take a couple of those questions and we're going to go straight into our quick presentation from Basir, and then a couple highlights from Jael to follow. The Q&A is only going to be however long as the Q&A goes. We have a couple questions that I would like to hear back from you all of you, ministers and the people that are here. So we kind of allocated maybe 20 to 30 minutes for that. But these time periods are adjustable. It's just a matter of however long it takes us to kind of get these things done. But the ministers know we're going to stick to our times. But when we get to that Q&A portion, we'll just be free, essentially. So I'm going to take a look here. Stop for a moment. Minister Yashiyahu, is that okay with you?
Yes, sir. And hopefully my mic is working a little better now. I'm gonna speak up a little bit, and I want to share, so hopefully I have that permission. Okay.
Minister Yashiyahu, your volume is still a little bit low. And I think it may be hard if you're talking through information for everyone to understand you.
All right. What I'm attempt to do is plug in a headset. I didn't think about that before. I don't know if it's like any dust or anything in my mic.
It actually sounds better now.
Okay, I plugged in my headset, but it's still coming through my laptop. So if that works, then I'm gonna continue until somebody let me know. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I took the liberty, and this is what I've been doing for years. I've just incorporated using chat to help me out, so it looks real organized. So this should be pretty sweet and simple. I'm gonna go to highlighted points that I think is important. This wasn't intended to, go over everything, but if you see something in here that you have questions, you're more than welcome to stop me and point out something that you see or you want to discuss. So this was a transcription of the recent video of our chief, and it was entitled, I'm not sure what it was entitled, I can't remember, but it was definitely dealing with the Ramadan. And one of the major questions is, why are we talking about this? So I'm just going to read along. It says, let's talk about why we are even having this conversation. What do we mean by an indigenous solstice fast, aka Ramadan? How is Ramadan in December? What does that have to do with us being indigenous? And what about all the questions and concerns you may have on the historicity of the subject? All right. And so, if we go down here, he will answer some of the questions that we're going to go over, a couple of them. And you may be familiar with some of the topics: Orthodox Muslims, African Muslims, Arab Muslims, ministers of Arab Islam, followers of Imam Warren, Dean Muhammad. So all of these things you see have, from the association seeming to have, without proper guidance, association with Arabs. And you will soon find out that that's further from the truth. So I'm just going to go down here to some content or subject that I think is very relevant, because I don't want to just start verbatimly stripping down the whole transcription. So let's just go over a few things that he said that he was covering. And this is dealing with prayer and meditation, why we are observing Ramadan in December, of course, what this has to do with textual evidence from the Quran, which is very important, things you may think are not true, but which we can absolutely prove. Examples: the Salat system originating in America and being transferred eastward, the claim that ancient Egyptians are the original Moors and that they had thousands of years of context with our ancestors in the Western Hemisphere, including admixture. How is this contact and exchange helped, or how this contact and exchange helped give rise to what is now called Islam in ways that are not what you've been traditionally told? So the conventional story of Prophet Muhammad, this is another, important topic. And Arab in Mecca and Medina, meditating in a cave and receiving revelations is, in his assessment, and what we'll soon find out, empirically false. There is no proof for that narrative, and he's been teaching that for over 17 years. Also about the Manzil calendars, what we call the Zolkin, the Tun systems, and the divination systems that the Moors took back east after learning them right from Americas. Later in the 1500s, the Catholics came, of course, and they learned the systems today, and they watered it all down. So let's go find another topic, please. The world was always cosmopolitan. I'm gonna skip that. Fasting, rhythm, and the sacred time period. I'm gonna peruse over a couple points here because that is a major aspect what we probably first get introduced to Ramadan, and that is concerning the fast. So the fast itself is basically how to perform it, the prayers associated with it, why is it important, why is this particular time period is the most sacred cycles of the year. If you take advantage of this time with awareness and focus, you can set your rhythm for the entire rest of the year. That's very important. We will also move into other controversial topics such as where did Christmas comes from. Now, some of these we might not get here, of course, but where did the use of the red and green colors in Christmas originated? What are the true origins of Christmas tree? How is it tied to the Sidrat al-Muntaha? How does that relate to the same surah that marks the Sidral star-based calculations for Ramadan? And what about New Year's? Why do people drop the ball, and what that has to do with the Moorish holy days mentioned in the Quran? So let's just start with what people may be familiar with. Thanksgiving, an indigenous harvest ceremony. Thanksgiving is literally indigenous harvest festival ceremony that lasts harvest before winter comes in. So the gores, the cornucopias, the symbols used are all things we already celebrating with Europeans arrived. So we already been doing that. You hear all kinds of stories about the Wampanoag, if I'm saying that correctly, and others, but most of the research people do is surface level. So this is most of the things we're probably familiar with. All right, so getting into a little bit of the crux of things, the purpose and culture. So this is about, Ramadan is about your purpose. What is your purpose? How do you develop it? And how is it tied to your environment? And how you set the culture? Right now, people are fasting and don't really know why. They are just following. That's a psychological pattern, following without consciousness. So we are contesting the world with the information we have, and we're about to dive fully in the subject. So moving along. This is some details. Maybe we can go over right here. Okay, he's talking about more about what he's recapping. Let's get into some of the bread and butter while we still have some time. So the prayer times, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar or not. They say that Muslims pray 5 times a day. However, in the Quran itself, it speaks in particular of 4 times, and it is in conjunction with the movement of the sun. So at sunrise it's called Fajr, at noon Zuhr, at sunset Maghrib, and at midnight is non-obligatory prayer Tahajjud or Tahajjud. All of these follow the sun for a reason, and the 5 prayer system is practically pale Arab invention or a watered down version of the original. So in astronomy, Sirius and the real timing of Ramadan. So he got well into, and I'm so glad he's thorough with this, he cited everywhere in the Ramadan, in the Quran, where basically he was citing his source out of this holy book. So when he dived into it, he was speaking in reference to the surah, the star, an ayat or verse 1 through 2, where it stated, "By the star when it sets, your companion is not incorrect, nor has he deviated." So this particular star is the only star in the Quran that is mentioned by name. So it describes the interface between the person receiving the Quran and the one teaching it. Traditional Islam calls them Gabriel and Muhammad in the caves on Mount Hira, but what he was saying is he was separating them from the narrative to show you the astronomical reality implied in the text. And then later in the same surah or the same chapter in verse 49, the star is explicitly named, and that he is Lord of Sirius. All right. So what does that tell you? The star referred to is Sirius. The setting of the Sirius marks the key timing window for revelation. That's very important. And this is directly connected to determining the true Ramadan cycle. And he spoke about novum in Latin, meaning 9, and how they specifically named out the 9th month in the Quran. So I'm gonna peruse through, see if we can't get to some more. Here's another source here speaking about the equinox, Surah 9, verses 36. So that's chapter 9, verses 36. Quoting, "The number of months with Allah is 12, and of them 4 are sacred." So it traditionally explains, it's an explanation, it says often mislabeled as interaction or something vague, but reality, these 4 sacred periods are the 2 solstices and the equinoxes. All right, they correspond with the 12 polarities and the division of the celestial movement into 12 segments. And those 4 points are special because of the tilt of the earth. This connects directly to Surah al-Najm, the star, the interaction between the teacher and the receiver, and why the winter solstice is critical. So it says, in the winter solstice, they have a night of power called Laylat al-Qadr, and it is in December 21st of every year, and it's the longest night of the year. So it is a moment in Earth when the Earth, our sun, and the galactic center aligns in a special way on the ecliptic plane. I sort of highlighted that because that was new to me about the ecliptic plane. So this is not superstition, this is astronomy, and that's what makes this so powerful. It supersedes the belief of religion and is tying straight into how nature works, where we truly get our power from. And so these are some more surahs, but I'm going to skip over this about the tree for now and specifically keep it on the Ramadan. And we can also talk about prayer. That's another important aspect that people are normally familiar with. Why we close our eyes, he spoke about this in a scientific manner. Why do we close our eyes when we pray? Someone at some point noticed that during the sleep, when the eyes are closed, people experience dreams, visions, deja vus, encounters with information that seems to come from outside ordinary time. So high coherent brain states can be induced endogenously from within, that means through natural neurochemistry or endocannabinoids and endorphins. So prayer in its deepest function is an attempt to reproduce a coherent state of sleep and dream in a conscious way. So sleep is the cousin of death, and also hence prayer is the cousin of dreams. That blew my mind when he actually went over that point. So that was a definite mind blower right there. So when we close our eyes and enter meditative state, we are trying to access the same internal state that allows dreams and visions to arise. So in conclusion, prayers must be linked to the same circadian rhythms that govern sleep, and sleep is regulated by serotonin and melatonin cycles, mostly triggered in the dark. So real prayer or salat must also be aligned with sunrise, noon, sunset, and midnight, the fourfold daily rhythms that mirrors the four sacred periods, which is the solstices and the equinoxes of the year. So those equinoxes is also corresponding to sunrise, or Fajr, Zuhr, Maghrib, and Tahajjud. All right. So he spoke about nature and the fitra. So I'm just going to say this quote here: set your entire being to the upright judgment in the fitra of Allah upon which he created humanity. There is no changing in the creation of Allah. There is the most upright system, but most people don't know it. This means deen is not religion, it is judgment, discernment, and law. Fitra is nature and the innate pattern, and we are supposed to judge and live based on nature. So I'm just going to summarize this, and what I got from it, pretty much, he was speaking in reference to the Ramadan. It is a discipline to clear your sight, complete or perfect vision. And so when we follow these meditation and prayers in its proper circadian rhythm, mirroring the equinoxes, we have access to certain intelligence from nature. And if we make it through the whole month accessing all of these different portals of upload, that would deem being faithful. And of course, you know, he spoke about all of the things that may hinder you from that. But if you're fit and you're able to go through all of these things, especially with integrity, it will give you a certain edge throughout the whole year. So this is a preparatory phase to set your intentions and just setting your whole life in order for the next year to come. So it's a very powerful time. Briefly on the night of power, the Laylat al-Qadra. I'm not sure what my time is looking like, President.
Yeah, we have 15 minutes right now. So if you can just try to just read, you don't have to like go into the sections, but just let us know what the sections are. And we want them to go watch the video. We just was given a quick, recap of some of the things he talked about. And the other two ministers will go into the other things that you just were speaking about.
Okay, so I'm gonna just hit the real quickly. I'm just gonna talk about the fast in December, and these are summaries right here. That's why they're highlighted. Just one or two of the bulletin points. Fasting during this time trains discipline, clears perception, and allows the mind to become more coherent, which in turn allow you to set your destiny for the coming year. And he speaks about how you drink and certain conditions. Prayer is an electromagnetic program. You breathe consciously, calms the nervous system, pray and visualize at those times. So why Ramadan matters, I think this is the conclusion right here. It is the original timing encoding in the Quran. It is aligned with Indigenous American and Moorish astronomical systems. It gives us a real chance to reset our life according to natural cycles, and it helps break colonial overlays on our holidays. And so and it returns fasting and prayer to their role as tools of self-mastery, purpose enhancement, and cosmic rhythm. So this is your annual reset, not as superstition, but as a practical exercise in fasting, breathing, meditation, study, reflection, and life planning. So that's pretty much it. And if y'all had any questions on this transcription, I can definitely make it available. I can either put it in the chat or shoot it over to the president. But this was just some of the recap of that powerful lesson that Chief Ali did. I think he did it last night. I was traveling, so I've been up for a couple hours. So, but thank you for your time and listening.
All right, thank you, Minister Yashiyahu, for that recap. If you did miss the video, it is on the YouTube and it is one of the ones that has been left up there. So make sure that you go ahead and get the full 2 hour content because it's going to help lead you throughout this mission. Also, make sure that if you want to get the ebook, you go to either the main website or Aboriginal Medical Association and make sure you get the ebook so that you can be able to know step by step what it is that you need to be doing. We'll briefly touch on those things today. Sister Lasha, question or comment?
I'm sorry, I accidentally pushed the button. I was trying to slide the screen.
Okay, cool. Glad you didn't cuss one of us. It's all good. All right, anybody? Oh no, excuse me, not that. So that's that. So we are going to prepare to move forward to Minister Basir to focus a little bit more on the Night of Power specifically. I do want to ask if anybody here, were you able to catch the video last night? By a show of, you can raise your hand or you can come on and say, yeah, you did. All right. So I see Crandall. Crandall, what was something, and I think Mama Yoli, specifically people who aren't ministers, because we're gonna get you at the end. But if it was Crandall and Mama Yoli, what was something from the actual call last night that either was new to you or was something that you think was imperative for us as Black Indigenous people during this holiday season, whether it's building with our family, building our own mind and traditions? What was something that stood out to you from the video? One thing from both of you, and then we'll move straight into the Night of Power. Preferably sisters first. Or look like I seen a hand, but I don't see it on here anymore. So Crandall, you got it.
All right. Yeah, something that really resonated with me when I watched the video, it probably would have been make sure I say it right. I think it was the carbon atom and it being the six red rings and the six blue rings with the sort of incandescent white glow on the black backdrop. That was something that really resonated with me because it sort of reminded me about just how intelligent our ancestors were and how many of the symbols are still around us and to the level at which they were detailed within their study. And so it was really inspiring to, make me want to be able to contribute my own things to all of that greatness and to sort of look around and to see just how far things have changed and just how far we can truly go. So I thought that was really inspirational. I thought that really sort of brought together the idea of, us being focused on designing technology and what we can really do with it.
Great point, brother. Any ministers want to respond to that or anything to say to that? You don't have to, but giving you the chance.
Yeah, this is Chief Minister Jael. I have one comment to add to that point. Something that I realized maybe earlier this summer about technology and the current modalities that we have for technology being so like, yeah, we're in this technologically advanced society, but in reality, like it is actually pretty undeveloped or underdeveloped, I think, because we as a people have not had the free range and capital and environments to actually, pour our creativity into technology development. So I definitely was feeling that like, and it really just stood out to me very strongly earlier this year. You know, like our platforms, like social media platforms and whatnot, and just our ability to connect with purpose. Like technology right now is just is for exploitation purposes more than it is for making life easier. So I definitely resonate with that point that you made and the point that Chief made in the video as well.
Yeah, on the, for me, one of the things was always around this time of year, Kai, Naima's husband, had asked me what was one of the videos that I thought was Ali's probably the best ones that kind of personify what we do here as a nation. And the first thing that came to my mind was the Grinch that stole Ramadan or Christmas or however he titled that particular video, because I think that this time of year is like one of the best videos and best contents I feel like we get from Ali that wraps around like the history, our connection to it, the visualization of it, the holiday seasons. I think I'm going to end on that. The biggest thing for me was it took the black anger out of me. Like at the 25 years, 27-year-old young man, I would probably be considered one of those black men that was always like kind of angry, and revolution only looked like war to me in that regard, or something was taken from me. And seeing that lecture and hearing the stuff I heard from him again yesterday just reminding me that, again, not only were we the starters of most things, but it's just so much pride that comes with the knowledge that we've had and shown for so long. And it's just given me a reason to be closer to my family, not for what has happened, but for what we're doing now. It's no reason to run from sitting down at the Thanksgiving table, run from Christmas. And I was doing that for years. And this has given me a reason to be a part of that and be happy with it and just, play my role in my family. So I think that's always the biggest takeaway I get from like these lectures is just how we can not only just find positivity out of it, but making sure that our propaganda is very clear that this time of year is still for us. And we want to make sure that people understand that. Minister Basir, would you like to share and have your own autonomy to flow through this as you would like? Or do you want me to kind of click when you're ready?
Oh, you can just click. It'll be short. I'll be brief.
All right, brother. Well, you got 10 to 15, so your time starts now.
All right. So this is more so just a bird's eye view of our Indigenous Ramadan period. So I entitled this The Countdown to the Night of Power. So we'll go next slide. So Ramadan traditionally, like we've described, has been considered like an Arab Muslim type of practice. So, I made sure to put an indigenous perspective just so we can have like accuracy. And one thing from one of the lectures Chief did, one thing he mentioned that was significant to me was Allah has only one reference, the truth. And through his research, obviously we've been able to decipher the truth and figure it out in terms of the proper period, which is the most important thing in terms of like being in alignment. So Ramadan, in terms of its definition or meaning, is perfect sight, right? To see perfectly. So this season is a time for alignment, focus, energetic precision. And then what I found interesting in terms of the foreign jurisdiction and how we, although, gift giving, we're not per se arguing against the notion of like participating in gift giving and spending, but the Ramadan period being a time of like fasting, refraining, conserving energy is an opportunity for us to focus the energy in terms of our intentions, right? So one thing I think about in terms of like eating light or refraining, eating after sundown is allowing the energy that we use for like brain power or willpower to be conserved exclusively for focusing on, what our intent is for the next year. So for us, I put here a time for ARNA and Aboriginal Indigenous peoples to capture and work with the true period, of Ramadan. So we'll go next slide. So this is just to touch on the astronomical aspects. So the constellation Ophiuchus rises due east at a particular moment at sunrise. Ophiuchus is considered the man holding the serpent, and it marks the start of the energy cycle, and that is congruent with the setting of the star Sirius. And that is referenced in the Quran, Surah 53, verses 1 through 7. And as previously mentioned, it starts with by the star when it sets, which is obviously referencing the star Sirius, which would be in verse 49. So we can go next slide. Oh, and the period is the 25th, or 25th, 26th as the starting point. So we go next slide. And so the key is basically to focus your energy and power during this period. So another thing Chief mentioned, which I thought was super profound, is a focused will propels waves outward from the point of origin. And if you can focus and project energy, you can make things move. So one thing in terms of what it'll take to get us and propel us to the position of autonomy and clarity of purpose and will is to actually be on time, be on rhythm, and be in alignment. So obviously, practicing Ramadan at the correct point in time is like a major key. So Ramadan is the discipline of learning to focus and propel your will. So we'll go next slide. And again, beginning November, going through the month of December, and the winter solstice being the night of power, considered the longest night of the year. Its main purpose or the three core purposes were to signify, or it was the initiation of Muhammad. It also with the star Sirius because it was a way to count the year because it's such an accurate star, and obviously the marking of the start of Ramadan. So astronomy is the basis of indigenous Muslim culture, and I would suggest, and I was personally inspired to get into astronomy, following the stars, maybe getting the telescope, being able to connect back to this type of practice so you can, map out your life and see time unfold or see how it was measured, getting into the science of it, I think was also something super inspirational in learning about this period. So we'll go next slide. And again, so these are the fasting times. Obviously, we have the dawn, midday, sunset, and then the tahajjud, which is the midnight prayer, which is not a requirement, but is suggested. We also have so this would be basically prayer or meditation times, and I would also highly suggest visualization. So seeing what it is you want to come into your life during these times. So, there's distinctions between like prayer, meditation, visualization, you got affirmation. I would highly suggest, a combination of all of these things. So just to make sure you're touching all of the senses. So where you're verbalizing, writing down, visualizing, meditating, right? Breath work, all of these things combined together essentially layer the senses together to, I believe, put potency in terms of what your intent is with whatever it is you want to manifest. And then in terms of the eating, obviously it's in line with what we already eat in our diets, but these things I just put in terms of like the best things you want to be putting in your body, obviously, coming out of the fast. So vitamin D, pine pollen, wild caught fish, bison, sun exposure, cacao supplements, ethogens. Um, and actually, I think it'll be on the next slide. We'll go next slide. Yeah, so obviously this is Laylat al-Qadra, the night of power. Also, I believe Chief says in terms of like interpretation, night of predestiny, right? And that makes a lot of sense. The analogy that pops in my head, I'm always about analogies, is especially with it being predestiny, is like using these fast periods, using these prayer periods as the opportunity to seed your destiny. So you don't see the crops come up when you seed, right? But seeding ensures that a point in the future will raise a crop. So the night of predestiny is obviously so that you can receive the gift of like, okay, this is what the year ahead is going to be laid out for, how it's going to lay out for you, right? And in terms of like the astronomical alignments, we discussed the sun, Sirius A, and this alignment that we'll have. And one analogy I thought of in terms of the importance of these prayer periods and putting your intentions out there, it reminds me of like if you are in a crowded room that's loud, right? And you're trying to get a message to another person at the other side of that room. The night of power or the Ramadan period is like a window of time where everybody in that room is silent and you can finally get that message across like super clear, where otherwise at other points in time it may be more crowded, obviously it may be loud or your voice may be more drowned out, but during this period, that's why going within, meditating, fasting allows you to more clearly get that message across so that the ideal reality for you is able to compress within reality and unfold as the year goes forward. So I put here a moment of heightened spiritual potency and energetic clarity, which is able to bring the manifestations for the next year into focus. I believe that's the last slide. It is, yeah. And I just, as a conclusion, Ramadan is a time of focus and manifestation. So that is the key, I think, is really maintaining your focus. And I would even suggest, although you really want to line up with the sunrise, midday, and sunset, but really throughout the entire day, try to keep your manifestations, whatever they are, written down in front of mind throughout the entire day. Obviously, you're not going to be able to 100% focus on it. We all got lives, we all got work, children, all these different things. But using this window, this time period to really key in on what it is you want to bring in. And the Night of Power being something that will show you how it can be done or bring to you things you may not have thought about. And that is the importance of like the Night of Power in this Ramadan period. But that is the presentation in short. But if anybody got any additions, questions, concerns, feel free to jump in. Oh, I see Sister Naima. Can you clarify what is to be consumed during the day for liquids, green juice, smoothies, lime drink, teas? So I know Chief said ideally, right? Ideally, you would want to attempt to dry fast until sundown, at which point you would eat. But if it is not within your wheelhouse. It's not something, if you're new to fasting, obviously, I think something like a juice, something like a smoothie that could probably get you through the day. I would probably suggest either tea, keep it as light as possible, coconut water, because that's what we do already with our normal fasting. So if you did want to do some lime water, warm lime water in the morning, some coconut water, if dry fasting is not where you're at quite yet, right? So we're not like overly religious about it. That you're not in trouble if you don't dry fast. But I specifically remember Chief speaking to the intent is, you want to try to dry fast, but something like a coconut water, something like a tea can be something that gets you through if, you're not quite there with fasting. And we're all at different levels of fasting. But that would be my piece on that.
GIL, you said you had something to add?
Oh yeah. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so I think he really touched the last point that I wanted to throw in on there, and I'll just emphasize it a little bit more that you want to meet yourself where you are. We're all at different stages in our um, nutritional diets. And so think of this time as a time for you to not only meet yourself where you are, but also to progress in actually being able to sustain and build the habit of, the fasting period. So I know, for me, this will be we'll say my fourth year. I joined ARNA back in 2020, but this will be like my fourth year doing Ramadan. And every year, I've progressed in terms of like one year I did fruit juices throughout the day. One year I did nothing but water, no coconut water, just strictly water. This year I'm actually looking to do the dry fasting. I don't think that I'll do it entirely the entire 30 days, but on the days when my workload and movement and physical activity is not highest on the lower end, those are going to be the days that I'm going to be looking to do the dry fasting. And so I just want to throw in that piece there, just meet yourself where you are, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to cause yourself disappointment or an easy position to backslide, and now you're really off the mark. And so, just be graceful with where you are. We're all at different steps, stages, and degrees here. And but if you can, this is an opportune time for you to will yourself into existence and to commit yourself to the best of your ability with adhering to the guidelines.
Great points. You actually segued us right into what that question would be, which is like, what has been some of you all's experience as far as Ramadan is concerned? Um, Rather it's challenges, rather it's recommendations. What has been some of the experiences from some of us here that has done this before? If anybody want to share, you got the floor.
Peace, family. I can share a little bit. So my first Ramadan would have been 2 years ago, and I was just starting to wean my youngest off of milk, and so it was kind of a good segue to do that. And so last year was my first, I would say, more full fast. So I did kind of the lime drink mixture and then coconut water during the day. And the results after a month, I just felt a lot more clarity. I felt calmer. I felt very not just motivated, but I felt like the things that I was visualizing had actually already happened because I had been visualizing it so much the whole month. It was like it was already happening. So that felt very powerful. And then definitely skin looked great, hair looked great. So from an aesthetic standpoint, felt really well. And being in Michigan where it gets really dark and cold during the season, it definitely gave me something to refocus my energy on and to actually give more attention to the darkness and the coldness and to become more insular. So definitely looking forward to advancing even more this year. But I love this season now, and I think, like you mentioned, Minister Balan, that it's been years in the past where it was like the Christmas thing and the Thanksgiving thing, and I'm rolling my eyes like, here we go with this dumb holiday stuff. But to then get reinformed about this really being our culture and our Indigenous holiday allowed me to lean back into what I naturally feel in this season, but actually gave it more intention and purpose and grounded it in the context of my own culture. So trying to now weave that into how we raise our children, along with sometimes the conflict with other family and just saying, okay, well, they call it Thanksgiving, but we say Indigenous harvest, so toiling with that, but it's giving us a way to communicate it, than not just saying we don't celebrate that. So I appreciate the grounding of all of it.
Yeah, I wanted to say that this is probably my fourth Ramadan season. It's my second season taking it seriously. Just being available with the hard work that we do in our construction industry. So one of the main things that I was very glad for is when I learned that, I didn't have to bash the relics of these modern day holidays, because that was very big when I was coming up, to distinguish myself as things that I thought would make me a better person or righteous. And, we've created a lot of divisions years and years ago. And just to come upon this information and just, reopen up a sincere heart of embracement on things that we were already used to, even in our ignorance, it made it that much more purpose filled. But some of the direct effects that I've had is mental clarity, especially getting over the fact that, a year ago or almost 2 years ago, I suffered from being in a house with mold in it and I didn't know. And so it had a lot of effect on my memory and a lot of ways that I, facilitate. But after the Ramadan, I did it with a group, and the whole month, we were, cheering each other on, being, and it was awesome. We did a lot of dreaming, a lot of lucid dreaming, a lot of visualization. And even though there was challenges trying to, balance out the privacy of it when we're meditating and just dealing with everything around us, it was elevating and the energy was clear. You can, so just, and everybody know when you're fasting, if you're familiar with it, you definitely start reflecting immediately, and anything that deals with, frustration or aggression or that goes away, because it immediately makes you appreciative of life, and you choose your words wisely because you almost don't even have the energy to waste it on anything frugal. So those were some of the key things that stood out to me when, we definitely took the Ramadan serious.
Appreciate you, ministers. We have Sister Alicia.
Greetings, fam. So I wanted to speak to several parts of this, and I really want to thank Chief Minister Jael for just the education that he's given me, because for the last 21 years, I have been hardcore anti-holiday, like absolutely not, absolutely not. And I had everything like down pat, no, 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 and then just to really understand that this really is ours. This was my first time celebrating Thanksgiving in 21 years. And I actually had to like get past the guilt of it, because it was like, because I was a Hebrew Israelite and we didn't do it there. And then I was a Muslim and we ain't do it there. And now all of a sudden I'm really awake to who I am. And it's like, yeah, it is ours. So it was so liberating. It was so beautiful to be able to do that, and not to have the family division, because it has always caused a division in my family, so I'm so grateful for that. Now, what I am over the absolute moon about is the fact that we get the opportunity to cultivate Ramadan in December. The first Ramadan that I did was in 2015, and that was fasting 17 hours, dry fasting a day. That is crazy. That is what they call crack cocaine. There is no way in the world, okay? I lost like, at the time, I was really bony, right? So, not now, but at the time. So then I lost like 22 pounds during Ramadan. So I really looked like a crackhead, which was ridiculous. And I can't say that I was better because of it, because I was mean to everybody. I was snapping off everybody's head. Why? Because I'm a chef and I was hungry. And so it was just terrible. And so I didn't leave the table feeling like I gained anything, except that, Allah was pleased with me, but I wasn't pleased with me. So being able to have the liberty to make the decision, first of all, to fast for 10 or 11 hours. Okay, yes, I can do that. But then we get the opportunity to choose. Am I going to dry fast? Am I going to just, do like we do on our regular 72-hour fast? We get to make the decision, and there is no condemnation. And I am just so grateful to be in an environment where we all are at different levels and nobody is superior, whether they are dry fasting, whether they're doing whatever, because we're all working toward one goal, and that is for our bodies to be in divine alignment and for us to be able to, bring back those things that are ancestral to us that we lost. So I really am, I am absolutely over the moon. And it would be remiss of me to have been in the bondage of the Arabic Ramadans for as long as I have been, and not to speak to the difference in this. And I do feel a great sense of accomplishment in doing it today. I am now, getting ready to make some food science based nachos. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited about that, but I'm not even hungry. Right. So I'm eating it just because it's the right thing to do. But I am really, really excited, and I'm grateful to be here tonight to hear the further explanations. Thank you, family.
Don't be alarmed on my long pauses. I try to take 10 seconds to see if somebody want to jump out there. It's part of me trying to learn self-control, and I can cut people off. So it's a fact. So I need to slow it down. I need to slow it down. So anybody else?
Shoot, I think I have a pretty unique experience to share in my Ramadan seasonal progression. As I mentioned, this was at least my fourth year. Well, this year will be my fourth year participating, and if not the fifth year, but last year was crazy. Well, so in general, everybody goes through 7 52-day periods, and each 52-day period is annotated as a planetary phase. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And in my year, my Saturn phase happens to line up with Ramadan. So it begins on like um, November 28th uh, and goes into January. And so the point is that last year I was participating in Ramadan, and this was my first year in 3 years that I was actually working rigorously and physically active throughout the Ramadan period. All previous years, I was working from home, um, or minimally working at all. And so I had some revelation about just, the alignments with my life, and getting back into the pattern of being ahead of my own curve. And it was like I had such clarity. And the irony of it was that, I ended up in a car accident with a car pulling out in front of me. And so I just thought it was, extremely like oxymoronic and ironic that, for me to have such like precisional or just reflective clarity, and then for like a car to pull out in front of me and I didn't see it. But the year that I've had since then, after recovering from that car accident and that broken leg, has been an amazing year. It's almost been like a breakout year. And so, one thing that was mentioned is, the opportunity that Ramadan presents ourselves is to, first and foremost, align with ourselves and align with the will of our creator, and to just really see ourselves into the upcoming year. And so it's a very powerful time to do that. And I would say that like this year was probably my first year like really having a full, or last year was my first year having like a full righteous Ramadan where I wasn't backsliding on any let's say immoral behavior or things of that nature. And just the manifestation and the fruit that I've been able to experience in this year has been very transformative and very grounding. And but I did want to share some other pieces, to Ramadan as the Minister of Health. And so, Minister Bowen, just let me know whenever we have that segment, okay?
Yes, sir. All right. So I think y'all all touched on points that I would say for my Ramadans over the past 4 or 5 years. What I will say the challenge has been for me, since everybody says such great things, the challenge has been for me that I come out of that period with so much clarity and so much things that I say that I want to do, and I even start breaking down the 12 parts of the year and saying during this air time, I'm gonna focus on my mind, and during this water time, and then 3 months go past and I haven't been as consistent, right? And that has smacked me in the face the most in the past 2 years to the point of where now I'm feeling the burnout bad. I am. And I think that this time is coming at a time where it was getting like real heightened for me, right? So the point that I'm making is I think that it always comes at a perfect time for me. I don't know if it's just natural that way, or now that I'm conscious of it, I'm thinking of it more. But when it does come, it always put me in the perfect alignment that I need for myself. What I'm really going to focus on, my challenge to myself this year is to sustain that energy, right, for longer than that first 2, 3 months out of the year. Really stick to that visualization, really stick to, if I'm not doing it 3 times a day, just making sure I'm taking time every day to see what I want for myself and my people. One thing I do have an axe of, that I talked in about multiple groups, but now that we're in this Congress, I want to make sure I say this every year. The acts that I would ask some of us to do when you're having some of this time throughout these 30 days is to visualize us as a nation, doing things, whatever you aspire that thing to be. I don't want to take away your creativity in that regard, but I think it is beautiful for us to be meditating at the same time and for us to be visualizing us all doing great things. Maybe that's us all at a rally. I that's the first thing I do. I kind of just see us outside publicly with a lot of us with the t-shirts, with flags. I don't even know what we at, but I'm just visualizing a lot of people with our merchandise that looks like us, showing strength and power, right? But sometimes I show that with us, I do it with us in agriculture, because that's something that means something to me, right? So whatever that may look like for you all, I think if we're doing that together, we never know what comes from that. My final acts, as far as one that I wanted to get out tonight, and we're going to end on Jael, is for us to be very intentional about at this time about not only our purpose with life, but our purpose within the tribe. There's a lot of things that people want from us and want to see from us. And I think the best thing we can do is have the best jurists in the world, the best doctors in the world, the best. We have this university, right? And I'm speaking to myself loud and clear that we have to, the more we focus in on the knowledge that we have, becoming our own practitioners and representing ourselves out there in the world as these doctors, as these business peoples, we'll be able to capitalize on these areas and create a rhythm for our people, which is what Ali started to talk about. It's easier for somebody like me to continue to go throughout the year and do things that my culture gives me because there's a rhythm. Our calendar has a month for everything. It got a day for everything. Like our people are used to how the 12 and the 4 is being superimposed on them by somebody that isn't us. So I guess what I'm asking is, when we're meditating throughout these 30 days, what are some of the ways that we can take that back? If it's making ornaments for this area of the year, it's not Christmas, right? But what are we making that's indigenous that we can take back? Our evergreen, we already took back the cross, we took back the star. How can we get involved in Small Business Saturday? How can we get involved in Black Friday? Like these things, I don't think they're reasons to argue. They're reasons to represent our people in these spaces and then show up with the professional minds that we have as well. So that's my spiel. That's what I think around this time. Hopefully, you'll be able to meditate on some of those things as well. And Jael is going to finish us off with some steps and some other highlighted areas that may help you to do that.
I appreciate that last perspective that you have almost given us with a like a call to action, with being intentional, as far as us culminating in being more intentional with our own group resonance. So I think that's a very critical point here. As you know, in our preamble, it's one nationality, one aim, one destiny. And so um, that's a wonderful call to action to be mindful as to how we can visualize us as a group. But yes, so aside from that, the two things that I wanted to speak on, I forgot earlier to mention some updates about um, our Ministerial Council of Health and Committee and all activity associated with that sector and Department of Life. So towards the end, or actually, Chief Minister Balone, may you pull up uh, the presentation that we were on? And then can you just go to the one that has the Ramadan flyer on it? And so
You said pull up what?
the presentation that we started off with everybody, the name and whatnot. And then you can just go to the one that has Ramadan study group on it. And then I'm just going to add my last 2 cents about Ramadan with an update at the end and then some updates about our committee. And so the last thing that I wanted to share with you all is just a few questions and reflection as to why are you here, in this Ramadan season. Um, One thing that dawned on me like a ton of bricks a couple of years ago is literally the point of why there's Christmas carols and jingles saying that it's the most wonderful time of the year, right? And so I think Minister Yashiyahu spoke on it a little bit earlier, but I would like to just give a little bit more emphasis in your visualization about this time of the year with how the alignment between where we are on planet Earth, right? Where Earth sits in the galaxy and the sun in relation to the center of the galaxy. And so at this time of the year, the center of the galaxy and the sun are on the same exact side. And so the point here is almost similar to, how high and low tides are regulated by the gravitational pull of the moon. Well, during this time of the year, the reason why everybody is in such a giving spirit is because the gravitational pull is the strongest. The gravitational force is the strongest. And so when it comes to us, you know, going out and buying gifts and giving gifts, that's all within a seasonal and spiritual alignment. And so a couple of years ago, it dawned on me that, these gifts that we go out and buy is um, it's like a hoodwink where we have no sense and value in ourselves to realize that we as individuals and our children and our family members are the gifts and our presence is the value and being able to spend time with one another is the value of our offering and things of that nature. And so when we talk about designing our purpose and learning our purpose and becoming more connected and aligned with our purpose, we can then become more giving and more outstanding in what our offering is, just in the natural gifts that we've all been inclined with. And so there's another perspective to look at this that I would say we can say, well, we'll just say reading the room, right? So in the context of what we're doing, we must wake our lineage up from the spells of ignorance, which adversely impact every aspect of our decision making, through spiritual, economical, and political and dietary avenues. And so we have to return this wealth or this human energy back to ourselves. And so it is necessary for us to know that the mathematics of the sky as seasons and universal time periods, along with the incremental measurements of time, are opportunities for us to align ourselves, our families, our communities, and ultimately our society accordingly with the rhythm of nature. And so such awareness constitutes the full measure of our divine inheritance, well beyond, the accounts of genocide and slavery. And so such an account of mathematical expression enables us to rebalance the collective experience into the abundance of life's activity from our creator. And so our ancestors have left us wisdom through the patterns we know as rhythm, the cycle of time. And so by us being able to keep on the beat and holding the rhythms, we can account for all that there is. And so with that in mind, we understand that wisdom is but rhythm established throughout cycles of time and perpetuated through nature. And it is through wisdom where we express the manifestation of our DNA through memory. And so there's three particular texts from our level one Indigenous Naturopathic Doctor's course that I think is very relevant to us being able to read the room of what we're doing. And so one that I would like to share, the first one that I would like to share, it says, all Indigenous people should be linked to their cosmic intelligence, which occurs by having a conscious knowledge of their heritage or lineage as the creators of the universe. Knowledge of the cosmology and astronomy of the universe and its dimensions, and the practice of the absolute laws of the universe. Another paragraph from our textbook in that level one course says that this knowledge or vibration affects what is called the divine triangle, which is the pineal gland, the hypothalamus gland, and the pituitary gland. These three glands, along with their glands, the nervous system, and the heart, affect the electromagnetism or the spirit of the body, the hormones, the immune, and all other subsystems of the body. And so we are calling on all Indigenous peoples to participate in the great opportunity to ignite a renaissance in learning, sharing, building, focusing on goals, and executing the vision of removing ignorance from all phases of our heritage as a people. And so with that, I just wanted to reemphasize, not only is it the most wonderful time of the year, but as Sister Naima, Chief Minister Naima mentioned, like these holy days were opportunities for us to check our attitudes and align ourselves into rhythm, with our family members and with our community. And so, all of these holidays have been damn near repackaged and given back to us in a way that they can exploit, our wealth and whatnot. And so, pretty much everybody who wakes up or, becomes woke, one of the first things that we all have done was like toss away our holidays. But it's really a beautiful thing for us to come into the fullest spectrum of awareness that all of these different points in time, they were originally ours, and they just were repackaged and revenued to exploit and capitalize the wealth that is tied to us in these things. And so that was the last thing that I wanted to say about Ramadan. The last two things that I have here are updates from our Ministerial Council of Health. And the first one is that, oh yeah, you can go back to the study group flyer. So Chief Ali had wrote a book some years ago called Star Prophecy. And if you are a national of the Xi-Amaru tribal government for the Aboriginal Republic of North America, and you have not read this book called Star Prophecy, then you are totally uninitiated in the participation of what we're doing. And so with that in mind, we are going to institute a seasonal opportunity for pre-existing nationals and incoming nationals as we attract more of our people into our government to participate in an annual book club reading for the Star Prophecy book by Dr. Ali. And so we're going to have our first reading and review kick off on this upcoming Sunday, and we're going to cover the book. It's not long at all, We're going to cover the book in 4 different segments, beginning with this Sunday and the following Sunday, and well, basically all 4 Sundays during the month of December. And so if you are interested in participating in this book club reading study group, we want you to sign up through we have a Google form, and I'll drop that link here. And then also our President, Chief Minister Balong will be sending out a follow-up, and we'll make sure that that link is available for you all to sign up so that you can get further announcements and things of that nature. But so that is the announcement for an initiative and a program and just some culture that we need to institute within our tribe, because, like I said, the revelation that is put together within this material is very initiating in itself. And so, 3 highlights from the material is that, there's a self-fulfilling ancient prophecy that is being revealed, in addition to how NASA and JBL and even the Nation of Islam has attempted to cover up this discovery. And then the final, most relevant point is about the evolution of us as Indigenous people and coming into this level of awareness and what it's going to do for the magnetic field to be restored from its current state of being on the planet Earth back into its optimal state of being. And so that is the update for the Star Prophecy Book Club reading. If you do not have the book, please go to arnagovernment.org and grab that book. It's like $10, and be ready to tap in with this on this Sunday. And so aside from that update, I would love to shout out just the activity that's going on within our tribe. Minister Balami, you actually go back to the first pictures with Brother Kwahu. Oh yeah, there we are. Okay, so yeah, I think it was mentioned earlier, but we got to give a visual shout out to the good brother Kwahu, aka Dr. Kwahu, aka Dr. Kachina, and the Abo Shi Cacao Chocolate Factory that has been launched. The only thing that I'm missing here, I think, is the brother. Oh yeah, I'm missing that one piece there. So our brother here, Dr. Kwahu, is a member of our committee for the Ministerial Council of Health, and him, Chief Minister Basir, Brother Tufo, Sister Ty Lee, and I may be forgetting some other people, but they put together a wonderful dissertation talking about the restoration of cacao back into our culture as a community, because this is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we don't control any of it, but this industry of cacao originates with us as a people. And so if y'all haven't had a chance to tap in with the Aboshi cacao, y'all need to tap in with the Food of the Gods. So much is coming out of that. And again, shout out to the teamwork to support this brother. Shout out to the tribe that's been putting the brother out there, with our chocolate and whatnot. And then this picture over here to the right is we have our chocolate at this store in Atlanta called Health Unlimited. And the brother in the picture right there, his queen works at the store, and teamwork makes the dream work. They was able to work that connection, work that relationship, and now we got Aboshi chocolate on the shelves in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. So if you hadn't had a chance, save up your coins to get some chocolate this season. So many benefits. If you don't know about it, go check out and follow the page. They are continuously updating facts about how, cacao can stimulate stem cells, increase sense of well-being, increase focus, this, that, and the third. All right. So next slide. After this one, I think is the one highlighting the local jurisdiction activity, and the sister Ty Lee and the local nationals that are in the area, boots on the ground, hands in the ground, getting to it. And so what we're looking at right here is um, it's a park slash community center being developed, and it's an area that our nationals are in control of in Atlanta, where we have a basketball court, trampoline, treehouse, a garden, a fire pit, and then another property over there developing a house and whatnot. And so what we're looking at right now are nationals. Shout out to Brother Mariti, aka Dr. Mariti, another member of our committee for the Ministerial Council of Health, and his Queen Miranda, and I think that's Brother Basir and Sister Ty Lee participating in a beekeeping class. I think that's the next element of what they're doing at the YG Urban Farm. And so this was the meeting location that we had our Sunday cookout day for our summit this past year. And so the sister Ty Lee is a agricultural edible architectural designer. And so the top left image is just a redesign of what the garden space is going to be transformed into. Like they already had the courts there, they already had a fire pit, they already had a garden. And so, she does well with just visualizing and landscaping and designing. And if you or anybody you know is interested in having something designed, tap in with the sister. She has um, a nonprofit called Just Solely Eco Agro Enterprises, where she is able to offer her expertise through consultation and things of that nature. And so, last update or last two updates, if you can jump back up to the top two images before the Aboshi, and then I'll be closing out there. Oh yeah, we'll start here. So the Ministerial Council of Health, shout out to our committee, our team. We have been locked in, putting in that work, collaborating, working together since February, March of this year. We have two uh, major projects that we've been working on all year, or really one, but the one that I'm going to talk about right now is this actual cookbook that we're putting together. And this won't be our last cookbook that we're putting together, but the first one that we're doing. And for anybody who is wanting to submit a recipe to be featured in the cookbook, your name will be entered into a $500 raffle ticket drawing. And so if you would like to make an entry for that recipe in that cookbook, you can take a picture of that QR code or go follow us on Instagram at ARNA. Dang it, what is our Instagram name? It's ARNA MC Health or ARNA Health Ministry, and go to the link tree. And so in the link tree, we have the links for the submission for the recipe. And then also on that link tree, we'll have the sign up for the um, book club reading. And then so the last update, if you could drop or go back up one more, is we had been working on a community engagement health booklet. And well, you may not know this, but okay, we have several doctors throughout the states, and we're in position to engage our community and to host events. And so we have a number of those doctors on our committee, and we all, was realizing that, hey, we need a material that we could use to engage with our community with, just something very fundamental. And so the um, book that we came up with, or that we almost finalized, is going to be called Why Black Don't Crack and the Science Behind It, which is a very introductory material to just talk about our fundamental and cultural and lifestyle um, practices, that is honoring our genetics and things that can cultivate and preserve our genetics. And so some of those things, we're all practicing right now during Ramadan, which is fasting, prayer, meditation, exercise. And so, everybody knows that Black doesn't crack, but then let's think about how much more or less Black would crack if we actually incorporated these various lifestyle practices. And so this is just like I said, a material put together to not only for doctors to host events and interface with their community, but also for nationals to have certain discussions with their family members, their church congregation, or whatever network that they're part of. And so shout out to our committee, our team. We've definitely had a wonderful opportunity to collaborate and to work together. And those are pretty much the updates that we have from the ARNA Ministerial Council of Health. And y'all stay tuned, and I yield my time.
Okay, so we are at about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So we're just going to go straight into any questions or concerns that you all may have, not even about Ramadan. We did have 4 more slides, but I'll just send those out. If you do have an email, you would like to take a look at those. We touched on most of those things here, but they pretty much just broke down a little bit more the basics of Ramadan here. But put your emails in the chat and I'll make sure I'll send those out to you all. But the floor is open. Questions, concerns, Ramadan, ARNA Tribe. There was one question about the land at YG Farm. Is that tribal land or registered? Oh, he answered it in the chat. Okay, great. All right. Any questions from our new people or our people that are part of the tribe or whatever status you are? One second while I get these.
Yo, peace, fam. I got a question.
Peace, brother. You got the floor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is there a direct number for Congress to call out, or is it more like reach out to the specific Congress members for questions or what have you for each different ministry or department, or is there like a Congress like number to kind of situation going on? That's my only question.
Currently, what we have right now set up on the website is for the opportunity for people to either contact us with their issue, and we'll get it by email to the ARNA Ministerial Congress at gmail.com, and we'll respond back that way. And my number is on there for like general issues or whatever comes through like that digital portal. However, as far as like what we're trying to enact is depending on the issue, you should reach out to that specific minister. So if it's a health issue, try to get to Minister Jael. If it is a civics issue, try to get to Basir. Birth, death, and forensics, try to get to Naima. Technology to me, and so on and so forth.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I appreciate that. Okay. I got you moving forward for sure.
No problem.
Absolutely, bro.
And for those of you who are new, because there is a fair amount of you who are here that are new, if there is like an issue that goes beyond like legislation, or if there's an issue that goes beyond like us helping with family education, things of that nature, then that's when we'll make sure that we direct you to the proper place. So we're always a good place to start. Just try to get acclimated with what the 12 ministries are, determine what your issue is, either get with that minister or just get to me and I'll get you to the proper person. And I got the emails that were put in the chat as well. All right, I'm gonna give 10 more seconds for whoever have questions or concerns. You don't have to ask them now. Make sure you get with us either by that email again on a Ministerial Congress at gmail.com. Same thing on Instagram, same thing on YouTube, or you can get to any of these specific ministers. Oh, you don't have to send your email. That was more so if you wanted to get those last 4 slides. I just showed one, I believe. I believe these are 4 slides from the actual book, right? Jael?
Oh no, this was screenshots from a book that I put together like 2 years ago, yeah, in 2023.
Okay, great. So do we have the permission to share that with them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was, that book was for free on one of my sites. So, if I'd like to, it's just the screenshots of the book. Either way, it doesn't matter.
All right. So I shall share that with you all who put that here. What we can do is, if you did not see them before, ministers, if you want to put your email in the chat for those who would like to reach out, that would be good. And that essentially should wrap us up. Let me click on the agenda to make sure I miss nothing. Want to try to get y'all out in 2 hours back to your families.
Oh, and we got some work to do on our Instagram page, but the Instagram page for the Ministerial Council of Health is ARNA Health Ministry.
All right, did any other ministers want to, and they got to be quick. We want to go quick. If there's any other quick updates as far as ministries or committees is concerned, we can go with that. If not, then we'll just have somebody close us out with preamble. All right. So again, thank you all for your time and energy here. Wonderful job. Wish you all a great Ramadan, a focused Ramadan. We are going to be doing our actual town hall on January 12th. So we hope to see you there. There we'll get into the actual nitty gritty of the things that we do here, like legislation. Want to hear from you about legislation, update you about the climate of things as far as the government is concerned here. We are going into an election year next year. So if you are interested in joining this council, then you should fill out the actual form. It is listed on our Facebook page. So make sure that you get access to that so that you can fill it out. If you don't have that, then again, reach out to our Ministerial Congress email and we'll make sure that you get access to the things that you need. But next year is the time. So each of these positions will be coming up and I will be talking to our council, but in my mind, I'm trying to plan around starting to open up the ministerial council seat for the communications after Ramadan and trying to take in pretty much people's resume for about a 2-week period max, because we'll like to get you in before the end of the month of January so that we can make sure that you are trained up and less trained up to be able to create legislation, more so trained up to be the best national and government official you can be and have an opportunity to make sure that some of this communication work continues and the collaboration continues. And then, you'll be in the seat until that actual election comes up. So we do have some work to be done, and we do need people to do that work. And we have a constitution. That's more important for us to continue to do legislation. It states that we have 9 ministerial Congress members and 9 NJS members. And that was the one bill that I passed to make sure that these seats are filled on our side. So I want to make sure that we continue to do those things. So that's that. Recitation is going to pick back up at the end of this month. So if you are a national and you have not recited or gone through your rites of passage, please reach out to us and we'll make sure we'll help you to do that. As far as signing up for recitation, our week is the last 2 weeks in December. So that'll be the 28th and the 21st. So we'll send out who's going to be those people doing that. I don't want to take any more time here to try to pick out who they will be, but just keep your eyes out, for the notice that will be stating who will be doing recitation on the 21st of December and on the 28th of December. All right. Who wants to close us out with preamble? Or do we want to all say it together like we did last time? Going once, going twice. Any ministers want to close us out? All right, then I'll be the one who closes out. All right, all minds. What happened?
I said, take it away, President
Chief
Minister Balone.
All hearts and mind clear for the preamble. We gotta figure out, that's something else to meditate on. We gotta figure out what we gonna do at this time. Like, is we gonna throw the fist? Is we gonna be just like this with the arrows? What we gonna do when we do our preamble? Somebody meditate on that and come back and let us know what's up. We, the people of the Aboriginal Republic of North America, asserting our natural Aboriginal rights as the oldest Aboriginal Indigenous peoples of the Americas, consisting of an Aboriginal union of Indigenous peoples living in accord with the natural law, the law of our ancestors, do recognize all nationals of the Aboriginal Republic of North America as a unified community, establish our divine right to self-rule, a common defense of our nation, a complete unified will for progress and prosperity by and for our people, establishing justice by way of natural law and equality and complete autonomy as a nation. One nation, one aim, one destiny. Appreciate my mess ups there, family. Y'all have a good evening. Peace out till next time.
Peace.
Peace, family.
Peace, fam.
Peace, fam.
Peace, peace.
Peace to the gods.
Peace, God.
Peace, y'all.
Stop the recording.